Yeah, so basically, I was chefing in a restaurant in South London. I've been there for a while, man. Maybe like 2 years already at that point, or so, a year and a half. And I was struggling, just keeping interested, but it was like paying the rent. You know, it was working for me, to be honest. And like, I did like the vibes. Also, I love Japanese food. I love ramen. So it just kind of worked out for me like that. Got a rep first manager at the time, but I'd done a bit of managing, working on my art on the side, but mostly just like going in kind of day in, day out. You know, I was just getting bored. I was getting a bit restless. That's a better way to say it. I was getting restless, and I basically handed in my notice at this point. And my boss was straight up like, if you want to quit, that's fine, like I totally understand, but if you just want to take a sabbatical, like take some time off, you know, take 3 months off, go away, have a think about what you want to do, and then your job will be waiting for you here when you come back if you still want it. Which I thought that was really sound of him, to be honest. I really appreciated that, and that's what I did, just because it gave me some time to think and like still have that security of like, you got a job to come back to. And honestly, it's a really cushy situation, like for someone working in a restaurant. It's not even like a super luxurious restaurant where you can like take time off, take a few months off, whatever, and you're a known chef or anything. Nothing like that. Like, it was just some random restaurant. So I did that. I took some time off. At this point, I was already making art. Like, I was doing zines and that, doing like small short comics type stuff. I'd done my colouring book. And I was starting to do fairs, like just starting to do fairs and stuff. So I was just like making my way, pretty much getting started. Like, really, I didn't see comics as like a kind of real job for me, at least. I'd made a couple of like simple things, but nothing super serious. Made loads of art, kind of dove into that as a sort of coping mechanism, I guess. And I was doing a zine fair at the time, South London Comic and Zine Fair. Yeah, I was doing SLZF and I was selling my zines and stuff. And I met loads of like really cool people. Dude, so many artists like I just really look up to were there, and it was just such a cool experience. It's getting so grim out here. Yeah, I'm gonna go in because I don't want my laptop to get fucked. Hey, okay, I'm just gonna keep talking about it here because it got kind of rainy. Oh, and someone I ran into there, like someone I met, I think probably another one of the sellers or someone who'd come to buy stuff but who normally sold at zine fairs and stuff, told me about this competition that was happening called the First Graphic Novel Award, and it was open to anyone who lived in the UK that was over a certain age. I can't even remember. I was applicable, basically. Like, I could apply for it. It was open to anyone who never been sort of traditionally published before, which that was me. So I decided to apply for it, and you know, I think I was just also looking for something to do during that time. Obviously, I wasn't working. I had a lot of time to make art. I was thinking about art a lot. I really wanted to be able to sort of turn it into a job, I guess. But it's really hard to figure out how to do that when you have no idea and you're kind of by yourself, don't necessarily have the resources, both physically and like in terms of like connections and stuff. I had just no idea how it was even possible to like realistically make art your job. When I heard about this opportunity, I was just like, oh, that's cool, yeah, like I'll why not, I'll try. I just thought it sounded really cool, and that it would help me ultimately in some way, like in developing my own kind of work and figuring out how to do stuff. And I think they were offering sort of like feedback at that point, that even if you got like shortlisted, you would get some feedback on your work, which I thought that's great because it's directly from people who are in the industry, so you know, there's like real practical feedback for me. So that's one of the things that motivated me as well. As someone who really, I'd only made one kind of comic I'd self-published before at that point. I'd done a couple of short scenes that are kind of comics, to be honest, and one slightly longer zine that was illustrated but wasn't a comic. The only real thing I would say I'd done at that point was Runaway, which is just so simple, because like looking back, Runaway is I think like 60 pages or something, but when I was drawing it, because it's only like one panel a page, it was really only like 3 or 4 pages of work or something, like maybe 5 actually pages of work, like full A4 pages, before it had been sort of edited down and rescaled. So it really isn't a huge, it was a tiny body of work, I guess, in terms of my experience with comics up to that point. So I thought feedback would be great, and just kind of, you learn as you go, and I thought I might as well try and start figuring this out. In some like fantasy land in my head, I was like, it'd be great to win as well, but what are the odds? It's competition that's open to the whole country. I knew of so many like super talented comic makers in my area alone, let alone in the whole of the UK or whatever. So I was just happy to be there, to be getting involved. So I applied, started working on my comic, immediately just facing so many challenges off the bat. I was just drawing stuff, and then getting so frustrated with myself when I started working on Bone Broth, which wasn't even called Bone Broth at the time. It's funny, I had my book of notes and it just says like tonkotsu on the front, because that was my working idea, because that's essentially what it's about, tonkotsu ramen. That's what the Bone Broth is. I'd had the idea to start working on it for a few months already, and was like, just ideas were forming in my head, but I hadn't really put any like pen to paper at that point or anything, or even story anything out, because I just kind of thought it was like a very distant idea, or it's just like my kind of little fantasy scenarios to escape to. But finally, when I decided that I was gonna apply for the first graphic novel award, I started working on it, and I started writing all these ideas I'd had out, and like the thing was super long, dude. I had so many ideas initially. What the vibe would be, like what would the characters even look like, what would the world look like. Is the light good? I'm kinda in it. I can't really tell. Whatever, I'll continue like this. This is my studio, by the way. I'm in my studio right now. So I was doing lots of concept art, lots of drawing. Was just kind of coming up with ideas and doing my best to come up with some sort of story, tie it all together. The initial submission was 30 pages of the comic. I think I submitted 15, finished pages, and then 15 that were way more sort of sketchy. I was just struggling, man, to meet the deadline, and it was all I was doing around the deadline time, which was obviously, it was really hard to justify to my boyfriend at the time, because I was just spending all my days, instead of like looking for different work, maybe getting a new job or figuring out what I wanted to do, I was just working on comics the entire time, playing YouTube videos in the background and stuff, as I was drawing. He was really supportive, and let me kind of figure out what I was doing on my own terms. Yeah, man, it's crazy as well, because there was just so much going on in my personal life, in our personal lives around that time, I guess. It was just like really kind of like an escape for me at that point. Still, it was so much fun, and I was just putting all my sort of crazy recipe together, I guess, and I was really enjoying it, and I ended up just about finishing in time for submission. I had to do a bunch of writing as part of the admission thing. I did my best to explain all my ideas thoroughly, probably very chaotically. Managed to get it all together in time, just yeah, around time for the deadline. And I did that and submitted it. I felt really good about it because it made me feel like I'd actually learned quite a lot. I don't know, if you're an artist you get it, I guess. Every project is in its own way quite rewarding and educational. Ends up going back to my old job. It really worked for me at the time. I pretty much just was praying every night that it would work out, and in one way or another, and that I'd figure out kind of what I was doing, and thought a lot in that time about the competition and stuff, but life keeps you busy, and basically just hoping it would work out for quite a few months. I think they got a lot of submissions, so it took a while for all the judges and everyone to go through it. And in the meantime, I was getting ready for Thought Bubble. I'd been really lucky to get a table at Thought Bubble. That was my first time. It was in November 2023, I guess. I also got a microbursary, and that really helped me be able to afford to go up there and do that, and it was great, and it was a great experience. But I was doing a lot of prep for that. I was getting all my stock ready and figuring out what I was doing, because I still was really new to zine fairs and comic fairs. It eventually rolled around, basically like a week or the weekend before or something, before Thought Bubble, really not long before. I got an email in my inbox telling me I got shortlisted, and bro, when I tell you I was like so happy. I remember going in the shower and just being like, hallelujah. Like, oh man, I was so gassed. I was just really happy, man. And like at this point I think I invited my family to come sort of visit at Thought Bubble and check out the scene, and obviously see me selling and stuff, and convince them that comics are worthwhile use my time and stuff. All my family and that came were already like super on board. They've all been really encouraging, but they came to see me at Thought Bubble, and it was awesome because I also knew I was getting shortlisted for this thing, and I didn't tell them, so that they could come and kind of celebrate that with me. And obviously in the email they'd asked us not to tell anyone. I think it was just so that if the people that had been shortlisted weren't going to be attending Thought Bubble, they had the opportunity to come to that and be involved if they weren't planning on going, which I think is fair. I didn't tell any of my family, and they came obviously, and we went over and they announced the shortlist at a certain time. They'd advertised it, and my name got called obviously, and all my family was there, and it was really cool to be able to share that with them. They gave us shots as well afterwards, all of us people that got shortlisted, which I thought was great. And I have so much respect for like the work of those other artists that got shortlisted, man. Like, I was so intimidated at that point. I was like, it's game over. Like, when I saw everyone else on the shortlist, I was like, nah, that's it. Like, it was a good run, but I had a lot of fun. That's it. It's game over for me. I'm cooked. It was incredible work, a lot of which has been published since the stories that got shortlisted. It's completely not surprised by that. Just the quality of them, and like diversity as well. I really recommend you go check them out. Yeah, I just got to meet loads of makers in general, loads of cartoonists, loads of really cool people, and it was iconic. It was such a happy time. We got our feedback, which was so valuable, and great, and they had them printed and on the table at Thought Bubble, and I thought that was just like super cool. The final announcement of the winner was going to be taking place in December in the Waterstones of Piccadilly, which was pretty impressive. Not gonna lie, I was like, that sounds cool, but I was so nervous, man, just because events, not even for like the actual award, because you seriously have to understand at this point I'd completely given up on that, on like the possibility of winning. not in like a, you know, whatever kind of way. I just was really impressed by the work I saw and thought, you know, my story was cool, but like I just didn't have the experience of like some of the other artists there. So I really thought I was cooked. The event came up finally. I think it was like early December or something. My partner was going to come meet me at the event. I got there a little early because I was feeling so anxious. I didn't want to be late. So I got in, immediately went up and kind of figured out where in the building it was. If you haven't seen the Waterstones in Piccadilly, it's pretty big. So I was wandering about for a little bit. Probably stopped by the comic section just to see if I wanted some stuff for myself, like buy some stuff, and then went up to the thing. I was wearing I wanted to feel comfortable, so I wasn't dressed super formal. Like I was just in something nice, but like casual nice, but you know, whatever. And everyone was wearing quite nice stuff, and I felt a little bit underdressed, but it was fine, whatever. And the only people I realized pretty early on, the only people that were there so far was like the organizers and people were running the first graphic novel award and the publishers from Self-Made Hero that they were working with, and you know, kind of a few other people that were involved in the organization of the award. So obviously I was even more nervous. My partner arrived at that point. We met up. I think they had little champagne flutes or whatever. No, they had drinks anyway. Had a drink to chill out. And I went and sat down and they started doing the award. We were briefly up there, everyone who was nominated, and then so went and sat down, and they read through everyone's work basically, and kind of introduced everyone's work and just talked about the award in general and thanked everyone that had worked on it.
So welcome to the First Graphic Novel Award. I'm Corinne Pullman. I was former creative director for Myriad Editions, where we founded the award in 2012. And this year I'm delighted to be working in a new partnership with Emma Haley, the publisher at Self-Made Hero, and Joe Sullivan at the Cartoon Museum. I cannot stress how important comics are for expressing complex thought and raising awareness of complex issues.
So thank you to Corinne for your hospitality. Great snacks, custard creams, fantastic. Bone Broth. Alex Taylor's fun and colourful art style belies the intricate plot lines of this coming-of-age queer thriller. Crafted with vigour and spirit, we are taking on a somewhat crazy yet wonderful journey that is tasty from beginning to end. While the story benefits from Alex's real experience of working in a ramen shop, his imagination leads us on an engaging adventure. Fellow judges called Bone Broth intriguing, compelling, quirky, zany, dense but light at the same time. Fun, great page layout, wonderful artwork. And those are just some of the compliments that this brilliant entry received. And it really brightened up my day the first time I read it. And what appealed to me most was its mix of immediately engaging characters, a hilarious plot, fresh-looking artwork. And it is a combination that's truly original.
And then they got to revealing the thing, opening the letter. Bruh. It was crazy.
Okay, Jenny, would you like to announce the winner of the 2023 First Graphic Novel Competition?
Can we have a drum roll, please? And the winner is Alex Taylor for Bone Broth.
Yeah, I won. What the hell? They called me up, man. Like, I had to go up to the front. It was crazy because, like, as they were reading it, they were like, well, this story is going to be delicious to read, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were giving it away. And, like, my man next to me was just, like, gripping my entire, like, oh my god. And, yeah, even Bone Broth won it, man. And I've still got the little thing in the suffer on my wall now. and it was crazy. Honestly, like top moments, top life moments. I think for me, I'm gonna remember it forever. It was sick. They said Bone Broth, and like I was like, huh? Like I was in another universe where I was like my body was walking towards the stage because they were handing me something, and my mind was still back in the chat, like just lagging. I was lagging. They handed me the mic, and I was just prattled on about something or other, made something up on the spot.
Thank you so much, everybody. I was really not expecting that at all. The work is amazing. The quality of the work of like the shortlisted entries and the longlisted entries blew me away. Yeah, thank you. And I hope everyone keeps looking forward to everyone's work, because it's all so good and so inspiring and just makes me want to work harder.
My boyfriend was like in the audience, still like texting all my family, like, oh my god, you got it. Yeah, and they gave me the thing. They gave me like a little kiddies bag. I got some money out of the award as well. So that was like in a way my first big kind of paid, I don't know, piece in a way. It was cool. It was cool. And I hung about for a bit. A few people, there was a couple on the spot interviews or whatever, which I'm not too sure where all of those went. I was really out of it, man. Like I can't even, I was talking to the other artists super briefly, and I'm so sorry if you talked to me and I just did not seem whether I was genuinely not expecting it at all. I was not in my most kind of conscious state of mind. Some kind of cloud 9 or whatever. And it was insane and incredible, and I'm so grateful. And it was amazing talking to all the people I talked to, and I had so many more thank yous that I don't even know if I gave. I don't know. Just chatting shit. Yeah, when I'm feeling sad, man, I think about it still. It's cool to have moments like that, because life is tough. Yeah. And I'm so grateful my man was there, and I got to experience that with him as well. And I don't know, after that, a few weeks later, I was just on a high. And I was like kind of had to rethink stuff in my life, because I felt like I had some options now, in terms of what I was going to do next, in terms of work, and how to balance things. And it was just so exciting, and I wasn't working on the comic at all. But I was just really excited about the whole thing coming out so soon. I'm so excited. I'm excited for people to see it. It's the hardest I've ever worked on anything. If you can get one, get one. If you can't, I'm sorry. I'm gonna end this here because this video is kind of long as hell. This is just me explaining, I guess, the First Graphic Novel Award kind of side of things. If you want, I'll do something where I explain a bit more about the process of actually making it from start to finish. That might be kind of cool. It was, whatever. That's just there's a lot to say about that, I guess, in its own right. And it was a whole journey, because it took quite a while. Obviously this all happened 2023. Here we are now. Book's about to get released October 23rd, 2025. There's gonna be a launch party at Gosh Comics in London, October 30th. If you want to come to that, more than welcome. If you want to get your hands on a copy as soon as it comes out, it'll be delivered to your house, whatever, through whoever you use for your books. I'm excited to show you what I made. It's kind of insane. I seriously gave it everything, man. I gave it what I got. So if you're interested, it's a transgender coming of age horror. If you're into any of those kind of things, I think you'll like it. And the First Graphic Novel Award, if you didn't know, has been running this year as well. I'll put all the information here, everything you need to know. Keep an eye out, because there's going to be some really cool work coming out of that. And obviously, if it's successful and if a lot of people keep supporting it, then the award can keep running, and more people will have a chance to not only, you know, show and share their work and get feedback on their work, but like, for me it was a big motivator in me actually making this comic. Without the first graphic novel award, I'm not 100% sure that Bone Broth would have ever been completely finished, certainly wouldn't have been what it is now, you know. And so I'm really grateful for that. It gives people an opportunity to start and, you know, work towards something, and I think that's great. But whatever, I'll put all that information here. Check it out. If it's for you, it's for you. Keep an eye out on all these artists. Give them love. Reach out. Whatever. There's gonna be a lot of cool work coming out of this. As for me, I guess that's it. If you want to support me but you can't afford a book, I get it. Books are expensive. You can follow me on Instagram and like engage with my posts or whatever. That actually really helps me share my work with more people and convince people that I'm a good artist and stuff. So yeah, subscribe or whatever. And there you go. Peace.